more people sing. Try that. That'll be the third one today, the third song today. And the first one is one that I did when Carlin and I were doing the music here. And it's an old tune that you'll be very familiar with, so I invite you to sing along with that. And there'll be one in the middle, too. Okay, we're all right now? Can I say it again? All right. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the day the Lord hath made. Let us all rejoice. Swing wide the doors, the time is right. Swing wide the doors to let in the light. Bring in the dawn of humankind. Swing wide the doors of this heart of mine. I'm not holding it in anymore. I'm gonna shout it out loud. I understand what I am here for and what this life is about. It's about love, it's about laughter, it's about comfort and smiles. It's about love, it's about kindness, it's about hearts open wide. It's about love, it's about passion, it's about taking a chance. It's about love, it's about service, it's about lending a hand. Lending a hand. Swing wide the doors, the time is right. Swing wide the doors to let in the light. Bring in the dawn for humankind. Swing wide the doors of this heart of mine. There's a voice that I've heard for years. I learned to keep it inside. Well, now it's coming in loud and clear. I want a better life, a deeper life. It's about love, it's about laughter, it's about comfort and smiles. It's about love, it's about kindness, it's about hearts open wide. It's about love, it's about passion, it's about taking a chance. It's about love, it's about service, it's about lending a hand. Yes, we're lending a hand. Swing wide the doors, the time is right. Swing wide the doors to let in the light. Bring in the dawn for humankind. Swing wide the doors of this heart of mine. Swing wide the doors, the time is right. Swing wide the doors to let in the light. Bring in the dawn for humankind. Swing wide the doors of this heart of mine. Swing wide the doors of this heart of mine. Oh, wonderful job.
Lorraine's back there doing sound and visual. Thanks, Lorraine. Welcome to Unity of London. And when we sing that song, Swing Wide the Doors, are you imagining us opening those doors really wide and saying, come on in, everybody? And really, that's what unity is all about. That we are inclusive, not exclusive. Meaning, you don't have to look a certain way. You don't have to dress a certain way, believe a certain way, choose a lifestyle a certain way. No matter what, everyone is welcomed into Unity of London. And you can see when we say welcome home, we're saying welcome to the love, the kindness, the interaction, the self-expression, the growth, and the concept of curiosity that is part of us at Unity of London. And there are unities all over the world. We think that ours is pretty special. And if you look around, you are the people that make it special, whether you're here for a first time or whether you're here regularly. By the way, if you are here for a first time, please reach out to people. We have little booklets in the front lobby. Pick up one. Find out a little bit more about what we're all about. We have a positive path to spiritual living here at Unity of London. And we have 5 basic principles. I invite you to share them together. God is all good and active in everything, everywhere. I am naturally good because God's divinity is within me and everyone else. I create my experiences by what I choose to think, what I feel, and what I believe. Just think about that one. It's pretty powerful. We get to choose. And we get to choose if we're going to feel happy and joyous, as you saw our dear Kate up here waving her arms around. And sometimes life can pull us down, but we get to choose how we think and what we feel and believe. Through affirmative prayer and meditation, I connect with God and bring out the good in my life. And finally, I do my best by living the truth I know. I make a difference. Who makes a difference? Thank you. You make a difference. That's pretty special. And how do we make a change in the world? We make a change by being the change, by being positive ourselves. When we practice being a positive change, we inspire others to change. And the coexistence, the sharing of ideas, lessons, learning together is what we're about too. We provide fellowship, but also education for spiritual seekers of all walks of life. You could be still in school, graduated from school, a senior, an active person out in the workforce. We share spiritual education. Today our prayer chaplains will be myself in the prayer room, which is just off the fellowship room up the little orange stairs. Sharing prayer is an opportunity to hear someone claim and affirm what you wish to be true. Claim and affirm what you would like to be true, whether it's wholeness and health, whether it's happiness in everyday living, whether it's calm in spirit, or if someone you love is distressed. So the prayer is not, it's not pie in the sky prayer. Very simple and straightforward. We claim and affirm, and we release what we don't need. Our prayer online is with Wilda. So if you want to pray online, you just contact Wilda at the end of our service. And I thought there was another one where we did go into prayer right now. I guess we have Jim right now. And by the way, Jim has a fabulous Unity song. It's not the one we're used to hearing. It's one that he created that is so meaningful. I get to see it ahead of time.
Well, this tune is, they say the best songs are autobiographical to some extent. It's just like writing a book, or write what you know, or writing a story. So this tune is not exactly autobiographical. It's not exactly how Carlin and I came to be at Unity, but it's awful darn close. Have you ever felt alone in the middle of a crowd, wondering what you're doing? Ever felt a bit like up was down, cause you can't see the good for the right and ruin? Feels like your life is out of control. You've lost touch with your heart and your soul. Well, I search high and I search low, trying to figure out what to do. My brain kept bouncing to and fro, the options left were through. Then I saw unity on the sign, it meant nothing to me. I didn't know the name, but wonder what I might find, something new or more of the same. But I opened up the door, I found what I was looking for. 'Cause they didn't preach fear and they didn't teach shame, and they didn't believe in wretched sin. They did not try to place the blame, they just shared their love in Spirit's name. I found love and peace and community, and you can too have unity. They had room for me and there's room for you, and friends who will help you through. So give me a you for the understanding there, and for the end of my despair. Me for who I want to be, and T is thanks for saving me. Y's for you, 'cause you will see that you are the you in unity. 'Cause you for the understanding there, and for the end of my despair. I for who I want to be. T is thanks for saving me. Y's for you, 'cause you will see that you are the you in unity. We're all a family. Unity. We're all a family. In unity. We're all a family. In unity. For that I say, thank you, Lord.
Thank you so much. Now that was a song about unity. Thank you, Jim. And Jim is creative, and he gets right to the point about what unity brings to all of us, no matter where we are. You'll see a wooden box at the front, beautifully decorated. That's our prayer chest. And if you have someone in your life, or maybe yourself, you want them to be held in prayer, you just write their name on the little paper, put it into the box. Dawn collects all the names at the end of the month, sends them out to prayer chaplains, Sylvia, Wilda, Dawn, and myself. We claim and assert your wealth, your well-being, your prosperity, your peace of mind when we see your name on those prayer sheets. And they are also sent on to Silent Unity that has been in Kansas City Unity Village for more than, I think, 150 years. If you ever feel an urge to talk to someone in prayer, if you're feeling distressed, you can call the number 1-800-NOW-PRAY. And the person on the other end will listen to you without judgment. They'll listen to whatever your prayer is. And believe me, you will go away feeling comforted and reassured. So that is free. You don't have to pay for it. 1-800-NOW-PRAY. And speaking of prayer, we now go into prayer. If you feel comfortable closing your eyes, do so. If not, keep them wide open. That's okay. We breathe in this space, the spiritual space where we can feel like being who we really are. We breathe in the opportunity to be with divine presence, always there, but in a special way with us as we pray. This month we hold in prayer Unity Center of Montreal and Unity Worldwide Spiritual Institute. We also hold in prayer all of you, your family, your friends, your co-workers, that you may be blessed with wholeness of spirit and body, that you may feel engaged with divine presence throughout your day and your night. We hold in prayer you who may have suffered losses in the last week, or who may be feeling troubled or distressed, that you may experience the calm and the inner harmony that comes from divine presence, from that awareness that you are divine. Divine presence is not far away, it is within you. We take a moment now to whisper the names of those close to our hearts. We affirm strength of spirit for all those who are suffering the ravages of war. We affirm inner strength for those who are homeless, those who are troubled, those who are seeking a new way of life. For these and for all of our prayers we say, Amen. And it's my pleasure to welcome up to our platform your board president, who will be introducing our guest speaker and reading the daily word, Renee Sawa.
Good morning, everyone. Is everybody's tummy's nice and full? Relaxing. Today's daily word is wholeness. As a divine being, I am whole. I know I am whole, wondrously made, and a unique expression of the divine. But I cannot truly know wholeness if I become distracted by an experience or illness or thoughts of lack or limitation. I do not resist limiting thoughts. Instead, I let the light of divine understanding dissolve the darkness of spiritual ignorance. Remembering that divine life lives as me, I affirm my body's wholeness, even if I am experiencing illness. Growing awareness of the limitless flow of divine ideas reminds me I have all I need to experience a joyous, abundant life. As I say yes again and again to my true spiritual nature, my life becomes an ever-unfolding demonstration of wholeness. If then your whole body is full of light, with no part of it in darkness, it will be as full of light as when a lamp gives you light with its rays. Today's speaker is Chuck Semple. Chuck has been a member of Unity for over 20 years, spending 10 of those years in the children's ministry. He is a volunteer at EMDC Correction Center for 40 years, sharing his 41 years of sobriety with the inmates. Chuck has had a motorcycle for 50 years, traveling with his wife Suzanne to Mexico, Vancouver, Florida, Texas, and California, and I'm sure many other places. He lives in St. Thomas with Suzanne and his dog, Duke. With his message titled, The Will of God, please join me in welcoming Chuck Semple.
Thanks, Renee. Morning, everybody. Can you hear me okay? Well, I want to thank Pauline for inviting me. Thanks, Pauline. And wasn't that a wonderful breakfast? Oh, man. And a time of fellowship. I've already received so much love and comfort this morning. And it's always, to me, it's like Jim's song says, we're family. And every time I come to Unity of London, I feel like it's a family reunion every week. I really do. And I really miss it when I'm not here because I just love the people here and I love the spirit that flows through and in our community. So we were camping the last few weeks, which is why I wasn't here. And I was working on this talk while we were camping up near Kincardine. And I was up one morning and I set all the books out and was trying to figure out what I was going to say this morning, and I had a little, it was about 8 o'clock in the morning, so the sun was just starting to come through the big, beautiful, tall cedar trees that were surrounding our campsite. I had a little pile of peanuts sticking on the corner of the table, and I was nibbling away because I needed nourishment. And all of a sudden, whoosh, there's a big, beautiful blue jay sitting right across from me, staring at me. So I said, "Good morning." And it kind of cocked its head, and then it picked up a peanut and looked at me again, and whoosh, it was gone. I thought it was like a conscious contact moment for me. You know, it was really, really a sweet way to start the day and work on this talk. So one of the books I've been using is Marianne Williams's latest book, Mystic Jesus. And I've found a lot of good stuff in there. And she talks about an experience she had with the Holy Spirit. And it's an amazing story. And I really identified with it. In her early 20s, she was suffering from a really deep, dark depression. And she couldn't stop crying. She was a mess. And she said it bordered on psychosis. So what happened was, one morning she woke up and there's this thin, dark figure at the end of her bed in a blurry kind of mirage-type setting. And she did find comfort in that. And it was there every day. So she made a promise to God that if she could be restored to health and sanity, that she would devote her life to service for God. And her mother noticed, "Hey, there's something wrong with you, Marianne. You need to see a psychiatrist. You need help." And she agreed. And her mother said, "Well, I want to send you to like a doctor psychiatrist in New York City, not one of those woo-woo guys from California." Her mother thought anything from California was woo-woo. So she went to see the psychiatrist. And she walked in, she said, "I have to tell you up front, I'm a student of A Course in Miracles, and if you think that's woo-woo crazy, this isn't going to work." And the psychiatrist leaned across the desk with a big smile and said, "I just finished the workbook." So she knew she was in the right place. So she was restored, to sanity, and got on with her life. And she forgot about the promise she made to God, and she shooed that presence out of her life. She said, "Thanks, I don't need you anymore." She later said that she felt that she was shooing Jesus out of her life. But she was at a party in Houston, Texas. And it was a big swanky thing in a mansion. And I don't know why she was there, she didn't say, but it was all a bunch of different rooms and small rooms, and people were wandering from room to room. And so she was bumping around looking in the different rooms, and she stepped into a room, and there was 4 men in tuxedos in the middle of the room with cocktails in hand. It was pretty swanky. And all of a sudden, one man turned and looked at her, and she gasped. She recognized him. And all the man said was, "I thought we had a deal." And so, we never know where our help's going to come from. It says in the Bible, I lift up my eyes and look to the hills, for I know not where my help cometh. So here at Unity, we're not called to be better Christians. We're called to be more like Christ. And we call that Christ consciousness. And Christ here at Unity is our way shower. I don't believe that Christ died on the cross to save me from my sins. I feel that something in me had to be crucified for my heart to open and my spirit to rise. And that is Christ consciousness. The star pointing to the manger where Christ was born, I believe, is a star that shines within everyone's consciousness, signaling to the mortal mind that there is someplace else to go. So when I look back over my lifespan, I sum it up pretty much like this: it could have went either way. I've met so many people in dire circumstances. Volunteering in Greece, Suzanne and I, Reverend Laurie, and our friend Carol went there, and it was mind-boggling, the suffering that was going on in Greece with the Syrian refugees coming across the Asiatic Sea. So our job was at the harbor where the the refugees were coming in, and it's cold and wet and hungry. So we were giving them cheese sandwiches and warm, dry clothes, and we had to register them. And I looked over one day, and there was 2 Syrian ladies, all dressed in black from head to toe with those hijabs on, and one of the ladies was really struggling to try and take her wet socks off. And I'd say they were in their mid-70s at least. And so I went over, and I never thought about anything. I just knelt down, and she had knee socks on, and she had like 3 pairs on that were like really super thick and soaked. I mean, I think you'd have a hard time even if you were in good shape getting them off. And so I peeled her socks off, and when I rolled it off of her foot, you know, I find it heartbreaking and emotional that her feet were just beat to heck, you know, like bleeding, bruised. I mean, what did that poor woman suffer just to get to where she was? So I put dry socks on her, and I went back to the table where Carol and them were, and Carol took me aside and said, "I can't believe you did that. Syrian Muslim women don't let strange men touch them." I said, "Wow, I never even thought of it." So to me, that was my will lined up with God's will. Another incident in Greece that really stuck out to me was that, you know, that we had to walk the people from the harbor 2 kilometers through the village to a soccer field where because the buses were too big to come into the village. And so everybody has to parade through there. So I'm walking along with this guy. He's really negative. He's just down. He's lost everything in his life. And he says to me, you know, "Why are you here?" I said, "Well, I'm just here to help." He said, "Come on, who's paying you?" I said, "Nobody's paying me." "Come on, somebody's paying you." I said, "No, nobody's paying us. But there's people here from all over the world have come here to help you guys because we know what's going on." He pulled some money out of his pocket, and he said, "I've got this Turkish money." He said, "And they won't accept it here." And he said, "And I'm dying for a cigarette." So I got the thought, you know, I used to smoke. I know what it's like to be dying for a cigarette. So, you know, we're walking along, and we passed a variety store, and I had this strong thought, why don't you go in and buy him a pack of cigarettes so the poor guy can at least have a smoke? And I didn't act on it. And that still haunts me a little bit, you know, that I didn't follow that voice, you know, because I could have, and I just didn't. So that's a case of me not having my will in alignment with God's will. So another thing that volunteering is at Exeter Road is that my experience there over a lot of years is I go in and I'm locked in a tiny room with 6 men. And I think the last time I was there, one of them was waiting trial for murder. And the sadness and pain in that room is palpable. You could almost touch it. So I'm only there to share a bit of my life and my experience with those guys. And once I've shared, you know, one of them might speak up. I mean, it's such a negative place that, you know, where they came from on the range, you know, they can't talk because they'd be picked on or laughed at or beat up or, you know, not a good place. So eventually they start to share, and I'm only there for 45 minutes. But when I leave, they're all shaking my hand. They're grateful that I came. I can see a spark of hope in their eyes. And for me, that I always feel the presence of God when I'm at the jail. Another experience is that we volunteered at Robinson United, Lori and I and Barb Zarnke and Suzanne, at a soup kitchen. And, you know, I would be ladling out the soup, and people would be going by that I knew from my past, even an ex-girlfriend. And I thought, but for the grace of God, I'd be on the other side of this counter getting the soup. You know, things could have gone either way. And I know that. So God gave us the gift of free will. And God has no control over our free will. Why? Because the very nature of will implies self-control. Will is the most dangerous gift that God ever gave us. Dangerous because we can use it for anything we want. We can even use it against God, who actually gave us the free will. And our will is precious because it's the same power that God has. Your will is the agency of God's kingdom here on earth. We are created in God's image. Jesus overcame the human selfish motivation of will and allowed it to be replaced by unification with divine will. This is one of my favorite Bible passages, John 16, verse 33. Because I think it's the biggest promise that Jesus ever left us with. He said, I have said this to you, that in me you may have peace. In the world you have tribulation, but be of good cheer. I have overcome the world. And he said we could do the same. Such a message of promise. And so we can do this by unifying our will with God's will. The rewards are happiness, health, joy, peace, harmony, prosperity, love, kindness, serenity, peace, just about everything good in life that you can think of. By unifying our will with God's will and becoming more loving, we don't just become nicer. We become miracle workers, healers, and angels of transformation. That's why we're here. The choice for love is a radical departure from the way we've been taught to view the world, and yet that's what we're called to do. Do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Romans 12, verse 2. Now I have a poem here by Unity's own James Dillett Freeman, and it's of course called The Power of Will. And he wrote, I will live this day as if it were my last. I will waste not a moment, nor a breath, nor a tear. I will make it count. I will make it shine. I will make it a day to remember. I will live this day with purpose and pride. I will make my will a burning fire. I will make my heart a flame that burns bright. I will make my life a work of art. I will live this day with courage and with strength. I will make my spirit unbreakable. I will make my will a fortress wall. I will make my heart a beacon light. I will live this day as if it were my last. I will make it count. I will make it shine. So the experience that Mary Ann had with the Holy Spirit, I had a similar experience. I woke up one day in my room and everything was going just great in my life. And I saw a similar figure that Mary Ann described in a blurry field. No message was, no words were exchanged. I just felt bliss for at least a couple of hours. And it was an amazing experience. I don't know why. I just had that experience, but I loved it. And that was that. I just had that experience for no apparent reason. So fast forward a bunch of years, and Suzanne and I are wanting to sell our business, and we were burned out on it. And so, I think I had a buyer that was going to pay the price, but the problem was my landlord sold the property, and I got a new landlord from Toronto, and my new landlord wanted to triple the rent. And I said, well, if I had a lease, I could, might still get this sale to go through because I could, guarantee him the location. So he said, well, you give me $1,800 and for, processing fees and whatever, and I'll get you a lease. So I give him the $1,800, and I never got anything. So I was pretty ticked, and I became obsessed with getting rid of this guy. And, I was going to sleep, planning his demise. I was waking up, planning his demise, and, I couldn't control it. I was losing weight. I was losing sleep. Friends were coming up to me and saying, what's wrong with you? Your spark is gone from your eye. I knew these thoughts were wrong, but I couldn't stop planning. And, I knew I was getting sick. I was asking God for help all the way along. And so, again, I wake up in my room one day and there's this presence is back. I recognized it from before. And it was beautiful. And then, but this time I heard some audible language, words in the room. And the words were, he needs more money and you need more God. You know, he needs to win and you need to surrender. I mean, amazing words. I mean, I felt like Scrooge on Christmas Day. When it was over, I sprung out of bed. I mean, I was so excited. I went across the hall to the phone. I called Reverend Laurie right away while it was fresh, and I just explained everything, what had just happened. Well, she never seemed that impressed, but anyways, she might have thought I was nuts. It was, early in the morning. So I was talking to her a couple of weeks ago, and I asked her, do you remember that phone call? And she said, no, I don't really remember the phone call, but I do remember those words that you heard. And I've been able to use those words, to help a few friends that are going through similar situations. So, John D. Rockefeller, he was the richest man in the world in 1903. He was the first man to become a billionaire, and he became deadly sick at the age of 53, and he was dying. And he was not expected to live, that's for sure. So while he's in the hospital, a thought came to him. Everything belongs to God. And his health started to improve and continued to improve. And he started the Rockefeller Foundation and, started giving his money away. And his health still continued to improve. And he was behind the research for insulin. He supported the scientists that were working on that. And here's a little known fact, is that the founders of Alcoholics Anonymous went to him in the mid-30s, and they wanted money because they had big plans of big hospitals for alcoholics and addicts and centers, so they needed money. So they went to Rockefeller, and he looked over everything and the success that they've been having, and he said, let's not louse this up with money. The wisdom in that, and he gave them, I think he gave them $7,000, which was a lot of money, but these guys, it was the 30s, they had no money, and so they just got a bare subsistence out of that. So Rockefeller wrote in his diary before he stepped into the light, God taught me that everything belongs to God, and I'm merely a conduit to carry out God's will. My life has been one long, happy holiday since then, full of work, play. I let go of my worries along the road, and God was wonderful to me every day. He aligned his will with God's will. So I've probably forgotten some things, but I have a story about this. When we were camping, we went to Kincardine to pick up a few things at Sobeys. And so Duke and I stayed in the car with the air conditioning on and the radio, and Suzanne went in. It was really hot to pick up a few things. So I'm looking across and I see a table there with a couple of kids, and they're shuffling stuff around, trying to look busy, and all the busy shoppers are walking past, totally ignoring them. And I got this thought came to me. You know what? When kids are selling stuff, you should buy something off of them. So I ignored that thought. I thought, I still sat there watching. I mean, there was no sign up, and all these people just kept ignoring them. So then I got a real bump. I got a good message. Get out of the car, go over there and buy something off of those kids. So I get out of the car and I go over there, and they saw me coming up to their table. They were so excited. The boy looked about 13. The little girl was like maybe 9, red hair, freckles. The kid had a baseball cap on. They immediately started telling me, all excited, that they were selling shirts for their jiu-jitsu club. And I said, well, is this your sister? And yeah, are you both in the club? Oh yeah, we're just trying to make, she was enthusiastic as well, we're just trying to make money for our club. And I said, well, have you sold any shirts yet? They both kind of, no, they hadn't sold anything. I said, well, how much are the shirts? Well, she's handling the money end of it, of course. $33. Oh, it's not like buying a glass of lemonade at a lemonade stand. So I said, well, I take a large. Oh, she whipped around the table, got me a large shirt. And so I gave them $40. She took the money. And she digs into her little tin can and all this coin rattling, and she comes up and gives me my change, and I look at it. It's $11. I said, well, the shirt's 33. I gave you 40. The change should be what? 7. So I give her back the $4. They were just so excited, really, really excited. And she put her hand out and thanked me, which is unusual for a 9-year-old. And then the little boy shook my hand and thanked me. Then their dad showed up, told me a little bit more about the club, and he shook my hand and thanked me. So I walked away from that experience with a lot more than $33 shirt. And this is the shirt, that's why I wore it. Stoic strength, and that's, I think, what you get when you align your will with God's will. You get strength from that, contrary to popular belief. So no matter how hard you try, you will not be able to say with Jesus, "Thy will, not mine, be done," until you are able to believe that God's will for you is good, happy, joyous, and free. So even after all this time, the sun never says to the earth, "You owe me." Look what happens with a love like that. It lights up the whole sky. And I don't know whether I went short or long, but that's the end of my talk. But that's the thing, I had a bit of a wild history in my youth, but and it could have went either way. But coming to unity and trying to line up my will with God's will has made all the difference. And it's not a thing that happens all the time. Like I say, sometimes I can see where my will lined up with God's will, and I've had other times when I can see where my will didn't line up with God's will. So it's a journey. It's not really a destination, and I don't think any of us are ever going to be perfect at it, but we can try. And that's what I love about this community, is it's a group of people that I love that are always trying, and we're in this together. So let's take that into meditation. I'm pretty sure that's all I got. And so this is a metta meditation. It's a Buddhist thing. Can they still hear me, Lorraine, when it's the last time I did this, it was drowned out. So this is a Buddhist meditation called metta, and metta, I think, stands for love. So close your eyes and take a deep breath. In through your nose and out through your mouth. Feet flat on the floor. Settle in your seat. Imagine roots growing from the base of your spine, deep into the earth. With each breath, feel yourself becoming more grounded and more centered. Bring your attention to your toes and release any tension or discomfort. Slowly scan up through your body, releasing any areas of tension or stress. And as you exhale, imagine any thoughts or worries leaving your body. Focus on your heart center and cultivate a sense of kindness and compassion. Repeat the phrase to yourself, may I be happy. May I be healthy. May I be at peace. Gradually expand your circle of kindness to include those around you and the world at large. Imagine yourself expanding beyond your physical body, connecting with the world around you. Envision a bright light, pulsating light, filling your entire being. As you inhale, repeat the phrase to yourself, I am connected. I am expansive. I am one. Cultivate awareness and kindness in the present moment. Peace. Now slowly come back. Open your eyes, if that's comfortable for you. I want to thank you all for coming today. It's really made my day. I hope it's made yours too.
That hug was from all of us, Chuck. You bring real stories of you being Christ in this world. And when we go away this week and throughout the week, who of us cannot think of Chuck walking down the street with the guy who wanted the cigarette? And Chuck is honest enough to say he didn't listen to that message, but he did pluck off the woman's sodden socks. And it's those small but meaningful gestures of kindness that really make us who we are and make you the blessed, wondrous, spiritual being that we're so fortunate to have here. We're truly grateful to you, Chuck. All of us are, for your message. Thank you. And thanks to Suzanne for supporting you and loving you and being who she is. And now let's welcome back our musical support person, Jim Chapman.
suggested. Did you need to do? You didn't need to do. Oh, you did? Okay. I won't tell you what I suggested. Just in case. I mentioned earlier that I'm going to do a song that I did last week. I wrote it last week, well, a couple days before last Sunday, and I quite liked it. And apparently you did too, because we got some people singing along. But I had 3 different people afterwards say, you know, when you do these tunes that you write, it'd be nice if you played them more than once every 6 months, because you want to maybe sing along with some of them. So I thought, all right, I'm going to do it again today, and I'm going to. And I also want to say how much I appreciate our own Katie out here for helping me do these tunes and getting everybody going, and just getting what I feel in here, she brings up here. So thank you, Kate, so much for all you do to help me. Anyway, this is a tune we did last week. It's very, very simple. I believe the words are on the, yes, they are. Okay. Just jump in wherever you like. The words are simple, the melody's simple, but the message, I hope, goes from my heart anyway to your heart. I brought spirit in my life, spirit lives in me. I brought spirit in my life, spirit lives in me. I brought spirit in my life, spirit lives in me. Spirit lives in me. I was lost and all alone, and I found unity. I was lost and all alone, and I found unity. I was lost and all alone, and I found unity. I found unity. Unity is now my home wherever I may roam. Unity is now my home wherever I may roam. Unity is now my home wherever I may roam. Unity's my home. Take my hand and follow me to happy times ahead. Take my hand and follow me to happy times ahead. Take my hand and follow me to happy times ahead. Come and take my hand. We are all a family, together we are strong. We are all a family, together we are strong. We are all a family, together we are strong. Together we are strong. Oh, I brought spirit in my life, spirit lives in me. I brought spirit in my life, spirit lives in me. I brought spirit in my life, spirit lives in me. Spirit lives in me. You know that spirit lives in me. Hallelujah. Spirit lives in me. Oh, you did a great job. You did a great job. Thank you.
Oops. Renee and Kate are standing up now because they go around with their little purple bags. The purple bags collect our treasure. And we know that our treasure helps to pay the bills here at Unity of London. Sharing of our bounty is part of our commitment to Unity of London. But we also share our talents. And this morning, many of you brought food to share, and that nourished our bodies. We nourish our spirit by the kindness that Chuck talked about today, and the kindness that each of you show to each other, and that you take out into our community. For all of those acts of kindness, we're truly grateful. And when the purple bag comes around, you might see some people just go like this. It means that it's not that they're being stingy. They've already given. They've given using Interact or some other method online. So we now join together in. Sorry? Blue bag, sorry. I have purple in my head. It's a blue bag, thank you. Not that I'm colorblind, I just have a penchant for purple. All right. Prosperity blessing. Divine love flowing through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. We do have special announcements today, and we have that wondrous concert coming up. Sylvia's in the back, and I know that Sylvia gave me a couple of flyers last week to distribute. If you know anywhere that a flyer would bring more attention to this wondrous concert with Paul Luftenacre and Christina Frith that's coming up on September 13th, please contact Sylvia. She's in the back. She'll give you a flyer, and then you can spread the word. This is a healing concert, and it is the culmination of a week devoted to suicide. Not to suicide, but to remembering those who may have taken their own lives. If you have family members, it's a very special time. Paul is a wondrous speaker. He brings a heart filled with love. And soon after this concert, he'll be heading to Copenhagen to sing. So he's not just a local singer, he's an international singer of renown. And he's worked with Louise Hay. And I think was invited to sing at Louise Hay's celebration of life. The tickets are only $44. I'm sure if you absolutely could not invest $44, you'd still be welcome. Please contact your friends and tell them all about this concert. We have Wednesday music nights, and I have to say that I was here Wednesday night and this room was almost full. Somebody went and brought extra chairs so that people could sit on against that wall, and I only counted about 6 empty seats. It was a wonderful concert, and the Stetson brothers, who will be singing August 21st, were here a few weeks ago, and they sing beautifully together. They bring a real sense of uplifting spirits, as Jim always does. And Carlin is always here at that table. It's only $10, and there's parking beside the building, or on the street. Bring a friend. It's lots of fun. Starts at 8 o'clock. Meet the Healers Expo is coming up the day after Paul Luftenacre's concert. Amber is in the room, and if you want flyers for that Meet the Healers Expo, please see Amber following our service. Again, all the details are here. There will be many healers in the room. There will be tables. It's only $10. Talk to your friends. A chance to meet people in person who are engaged in all kinds of healing. Whoops. Okay. And let us share together. The light of God surrounds me. I am the light. The love of God enfolds me. I am the love. The power of God protects me. I am the power. The presence of God watches over me. I am the presence. Wherever I am, God is, and all is well. Yea, God. And we will do our peace song, and we join hands to do that. Right after that peace song, please stay sitting, because we'll have our draw. And that's the draw for those breakfast tickets. The breakfast, you get to go to all kinds of restaurants for breakfast. And our president will come up and pluck out that at the end.